Hallo Leute, it is tendedtadpolebiz here, and 6 years ago today, my wonderful world that I call Tadpolia was created. It was created on March 27th of 2014, and since then we have gotten so many things done. We've created houses, we've made mansions, we've built entire cities with towers in them, we built a baseball stadium, we built a gladiator arena, we filled up Spawn. We did just about everything I can imagine. And I'm still going to continue going with it, but I figured today, because it's such a special day, it's the 6th birthday of my world, I wanted to celebrate. And to celebrate, I have my friend Gnarly here with me, and we're gonna do something a little fun. And so to do that, we have come to the outskirts of the city, where mine and Gnarly's mansions are, and we are going to build what everybody loves on their birthday, and that is cake. But not just any cake. We are going to be building a cake fit for a world as grand as mine is, and it is going to be a life-size cake that we are actually going to be doing some stuff on the inside with. So I have asked Gnarly to help me with it, and yeah, let's get cracking. So before we actually get started, I thought I would hop into my creative world and show you sort of what we're going for. So obviously I tried to model it off of the actual cake in Minecraft, but as you can see the colors are kind of odd, so it's not 100% perfect. And I did add a bit of creative liberty because I wanted to add some candles, and I made a little cherry on top that really pops. But this is pretty much what we're trying to go for. So I don't know if all the stuff on top is going to be exactly the same, just because I don't know if we actually have green, red, and blue concrete to do that with. But yeah, this is what we're going for. And just like that, we have a cake. Now, you will notice that we do, in fact, have 6 candles for each birthday that has passed for Tadpolia. There's no great way to arrange all 6, so they're kind of just thrown about, but, I mean, I love how this looks. Oh, that's just beautiful. You'll love to see it. Ooh, wonderful. Now, let's be honest though, this boy empty, and since I know I have a horrible track record of keeping it that way, we are going to fix that right now. So here's the before, and this is the after, and wow, oh wow, oh wow, do I absolutely love this. For full transparency's sake, this was actually Gnarly's design. So my friend Gnarly had come on to help me with this, and I had wanted to make sort of a little throne room, and he showed me this, and I just fell in love with it. I cannot get enough of this. As you can see, we do sort of have some item frames, and what these are for is I want this to be a little museum for my world. Because obviously, I mean, there's not that much to show off other than the buildings, but and this, again, this was one of his ideas. What we're going to do is we're going to have an item frame for each year old that the world is. And so we're going to get a different item that we're going to fill this up with, and obviously since this is the first year with the cake, this is going to be the first time that we're going to be putting all of them in. So we have 6 unique items to get for the 6 birthdays that this world has been around. So let's get some items. So the first item that's going to be going into the museum is actually from the first ever building that was made on this world, and that is, as you can see, my original house. Now this was actually made, I believe, on the 2nd day that I created this entire world, because I just spent a long time just running around getting materials. And so, while technically I did dig a hole to make this little mine, the first block I ever actually placed was right here. It was this pillar. I don't know why I remember that, but I know that I started the outline right here because I wanted to line up relatively closely with the mine. So the first item going into our museum is the first building block that I ever actually placed in this world, and that is this oak log. So to ensure that I know that I have the correct one, I'm going to name this the first block. So item number 1 is in our inventory. For the second item going into the museum representing the 2nd year that my world was in existence, it's another block from one of my buildings. And not just any building, my first ever tower. This is Tadpole Tower, and this was the first ever tower that I intentionally built to look like a skyscraper. Now obviously I have that one, that spiral tower. This was more a design sort of similar to how I made the castle, so I'm not actually going to count that. It was also built before the castle was finished, so I think it's kind of cheating to say that it was built in the second year. Tadpole Tower was built in April of 2015, and so it came around just after the first birthday of Tadpolia. So I don't actually remember which one was the first block on this tower to be placed, so I'm just going to take one of these blocks, and yeah, this is going to represent the second birthday of my world. And similarly to the piece of wood, we're also going to give this one a name, just so that I don't somehow stupidly and accidentally mix it up with another block. For the third year that my world was in existence, we actually don't have any sort of new or all that different builds that we did during that time, and so instead I decided to come here. You will notice I have the date written for when the world was first created, as well as when it was transferred to the Xbox One. Now, well, you know, there isn't a huge difference in my world from that time. That was a huge point for the world, just because it completely changed how my friends played, because I had a set of friends on the Xbox 360 that I played with, as well as a set of friends that I played on the Xbox One with. Now, a lot of them carried over, and I made a lot of new friends, but it was a very big transition for the world, and so I think that's the most memorable thing that happened in the third year that my world was around. And again, shout out to Gnarly for coming up with this one. To represent our transfer to the Xbox One, or the X-Bone, we are going to use a bone. And just like the other two, we're giving it its own special name, calling it the X-Bone. For the fourth item to go into the museum, representing the fourth year that my world was in existence, I'm actually going to use the map to show you why we're doing this. So, the biggest thing that happened in the fourth year, and it actually happened on the fourth birthday of my world, on March 27th of 2018, I expanded the world. So if you look at this map, you can see there's a clear, like, boxy look to the center of it, because this is what the original map looked like. If you look around sort of the perimeter, you'll see that, you know, different terrains kind of spawn in, but they look like there's a clear distinction. And that is because originally the world was an Xbox 360 world with an Xbox 360 size. So on the fourth birthday of my world, my friends convinced me to expand the world to make it effectively limitless. So the fourth item that we're going to be putting in to the museum is actually a dark oak log, because as you have seen in a lot of my buildings, I love dark oak. But obviously in 2014, dark oak didn't exist, so I didn't have it in my world until I expanded it. And because it is now one of my favorite blocks that I have, and I only got it because of this expansion, I think it's only fitting to put it in the museum. And we are going to name you World Expansion. For the fifth item on the list, we are here in the suburbs, and that is because the suburbs were created around the fifth year of my world's existence. They were created because even though we had our sprawling city and we had expanded the world at this point, really all we had in the world were these towers and some of the buildings that you see here in Old Tadpolia. And so my friends, and again, shout out to Gnarly, they were really fed up with just living in towers constantly, and they wanted actual houses. So they convinced me to make a suburbs, and so we started clearing out this area and just putting houses. So for the fifth item on the list, we are going to steal a block from the first house that was actually put here, and that is by Gnarly, because Gnarly was so stubborn that he didn't want to live in my city that he came out here into what was, at the time, wilderness, and created his own house. So number 5 up on the list is a block from Gnarly's house, and we will fittingly name it First Suburb Block. And for the sixth item, representing the 6th year that my world has been in existence, I have come to the top of WCPM Tower to look at Tadpolia. Because the biggest thing that has happened in this past year was obviously my YouTube channel. I made it, not to get too sappy on you, but I made it with the intention of just doing it as sort of a joke, because as I mentioned in the Q&A, my friend Fareed basically told me I couldn't do it. And so I did that, and wow, was I amazed when last June I posted my world tour and it just blew up. And so, you know, nothing in this world, I think, was big enough to amount to how crazy it was that you guys absolutely loved the world tour. So I figured fittingly to represent that world tour, I couldn't really think of anything to represent YouTube, so I decided I would put the map itself in here, because this is really what started it all, at least for this past year, and sort of kickstarted the YouTube channel to get where it is today. So the sixth and final item is the map. And so fittingly, I will label the map after what started it all, the World Tour. And so here are the 6 items in their place in the museum. Now obviously we have a lot of room for this to grow, and truly I do hope that I'm able to continue doing this for, you know, another quick maths 10 years in order to completely fill up this room. But wow, yeah, I absolutely love this world, and I am so happy that I have made it to 6 long years. This is by far the longest world that I have ever kept. So that is going to do it for the 6th birthday of Tadpolia. Now, I know this video was very different than the videos that I normally make, and that's just because, obviously, a birthday of my world is very different than most times. But, yeah, we've done this for a few years. On March the 27th, we've had some sort of celebration, and so I figured it'd be more fun to record it and show it off to you guys. Now, I do plan on hopefully doing this every year for the foreseeable future, just because it's a fun little ritual that my friends and I have. So if you guys have anything like this, or if you have any suggestions on what we could do next year, let me know, because I'm completely open to any new ideas. But yeah, with that being said, if you guys like the video, I would absolutely love it if you left a like, and if you're new here, I would really appreciate it if you subscribed. But with that being said, thank you guys for watching, and I'll catch you guys next time. Tschüss, Kinder. Teach this dog the plot of Old Yeller.
Where is it?
It's right next to me. It's just looking at me. No, I'm
It was your dog. It was your dog.
Wait, was he really?
It says Wolf was slain by Gnarly Rex 231.
Oh, damn, bro, that's wild.